Direct and indirect method of preparing the cash flow statement. Hello everyone, this is Jess Alcaraz. I teach people accounting, business, and financial literacy concepts. And for this afternoon, we will have a mini class about the different methods, the two methods of preparing the cash flow statement. Kasi the last time that we had a discussion about cash flow statement, inintroduce ko lang ano yung cash flow statement and then at the same time, yung tatlong component niya. So just a review, meron tayong cash flow from operating activities, investing activities, tsaka financing activities. So this time, we will walk through kung ano ba ang dalawang method ng preparation. So let's start first with direct method. So the direct method of preparing the cash flow statement lists, madali siya actually. Madali siya tignan, madali siya i-prepare provided that you have actual records of the cash receipts and the payments. Kasi it takes into account yung pasok at labas ng pera sa business mo. And if you have that kind of data, then well, basically, we'll just compile everything and ayun, lalabas na lalabas na yung we can generate the cash flow statement already from operating activities instead of adjusting net income for non-cash items. So this is for the indirect method. Later, i-discuss natin. It provides a clearer view of cash movement by categorizing cash transactions directly related to business operation. So dito, makikita natin kung ano ba talaga yung reason bakit may pumasok na pera and bakit may lumabas na pera. So, nakakategorize yon lahat-lahat so that, I mean, kaya, if you are the one reading the cash flow statement that was prepared using the direct method, alam mo na agad bakit may pumasok and bakit may lumabas na pera. Under the direct method, cash flows from operating activities include the following. Ayun, cash receipts from customers, definitely inflow yan. Total cash collected from sales of goods and services. Cash payment, so kapag nagbabayad tayo ng mga pinambili natin, binili natin from the suppliers, purchase of raw materials, inventory, and other supplies. Nagbabayad tayo sa empleyado natin, salaries and wages and benefits, cash payment for other operating activities, rent, utilities, insurance, other cash payments for interest, cash payment for taxes. So again, alam mo na agad kapag nabasa mo sa direct method na, okay, cash receipts, alam mo na that this portion of the inflow came from the customers. This portion of outflow were paid to the suppliers, paid to the employees, paid to the interest, paid to the taxes related to our operation. So very straightforward. By the way, kung napansin nyo, operating activities nandyan because for direct method and indirect method, the preparation for the investing and the financing activities are basically just the same. So we have an example here, a statement of cash flow prepared using the direct method. So, lista mo lang yan dyan lahat. Cash receipts from the customers, 1.5 minus, kasi nagbayad sa empleyado, nagbayad sa operating expenses, nagbayad ng interest, nagbayad ng taxes. So, net cash provided by operating activities, 250,000. So, add this one, deduct all of them, then we have this one. Then, for the investing activities, again, this is just the same with the indirect method. Purchase of equipment, naglabas tayo ng pera kasi bumili tayo ng equipment that we can use for more than a year that will hopefully bring in cash flow sa business natin. So that is investing activities. And then, nag-dispose tayo ng mga investment, nag-dispose tayo ng mga properties. So mayroong pumasok na pera. So net cash used in investing, negative 100,000. Then for the financing activities, ayun, pag nag-i-issue tayo ng shares, meron tayong pera na nakukuha. So that is a plus in our financing activities. And if nagbabayad tayo, for our loan kasi getting a loan and payment for the loan is part of the financing activities. So all in all, the net increase this is a net increase. So that's 250 minus 100, that's 150,000 plus 100,000 from the financing. So net increase is 250. And kung meron tayong cash balance beginning na 500 and within the period, merong total increase ng 250, therefore, the ending balance ng cash natin would be 750,000. So again, it's very straightforward. So what are the advantage of using direct? Easier interpretation kasi alam mo na bakit may pumasok, bakit may lumabas. Better cash flow analysis helps businesses track cash receipts and payments and preferred by standard setters. So the Financial Accounting Standards Board they prefer this one because again, it offers transparency. Disadvantage lang talaga is the data collection challenge. Be reminded that in accounting, we follow the accrual basis of accounting. Ito kasing direct is more aligned sa cash basis of accounting. But unfortunately, we don't really follow cash basis, especially if we're running big businesses. Kasi marami talagang non-cash transaction eh. So, mahirap i-retrieve ang mga data or mga source documents that will specifically tell us kung may pumasok ba or may lumabas na cash and less common in practice. Although the direct method is preferred by the accounting standards, it is really less practice kasi medyo, ayun na nga, medyo mahirap talaga siya eh. Medyo mahirap mag-retrieve ng source documents. Pero if maliit lang yung operation mo, and then typically sa mga maliit na operation, cash basis naman yan, madali masyadong gamitin yung direct method. So it is more aligned sa business operation mo. Now, punta tayo sa indirect method. The indirect method starts with net income and adjusts it for non-cash transactions and changes in working capital to determine the cash flow from the operating activities. This method reconciles accrual based with cash based accounting. So in the indirect method, kailangan natin ng dalawang statement. Number one is the income statement kasi yung net income, yun yung starting figure natin for the indirect method and the comparative balance sheet. Balance sheet for the beginning of the period and the balance sheet at the end of the period. So paano gawin si indirect? Again, starts with the net income that can be found on the income statement of the business. Then, adjust for non-cash expenses. Take note na meron tayong tinatawag na mga non-cash expenses. Example of that would be amortization expenses and depreciation expenses. Yung net income natin nababawasan ng depreciation expense and then amortization expense, but hindi yun cash. Hindi siya nabawasan ng cash. Therefore, in reconstructing the net income sa cash basis counterpart niya, we have to add it back. Kasi nag-record tayo ng depreciation expense, wala namang cash na bawas. So, i-add natin yon pabalik. The same goes for the amortization. Then number three, adjust for changes in the working capital. The working capital comprises of our current assets and then current liabilities. Kaya, kailangan natin ng comparative balance sheet because we will use the increase and then the decrease of those accounts, the current liabilities and current assets, and we will incorporate it into our net income. So take note, very important. And ito yung part na medyo nakakalito sa indirect method. Increase in current assets. So pag may increase sa current assets, it is deducted from the net income. That you might be wondering, sir, bakit dinideduct yung increase ng current assets? So let's take accounts receivable for example. Okay, let's do some analysis ha. Kailan nadadagdagan si accounts receivable? Nadadagdagan si accounts receivable typically if we make a sale tapos hindi tayo binayaran ng cash. So, we were not able to receive cash. Therefore, it is treated as a deduction. Another one, inventory. Kailan nadadagdagan sa inventory? Kapag bumili tayo ng inventory. So, if there is an increase in inventory, our assumption is nagpalabas tayo ng pera. And since nagpalabas tayo ng pera, it should be the increase in current assets should be deducted, okay, from the net income to reconstruct our net income using cash basis. Now, what about decrease in current assets? So just the opposite. Decrease in current assets add to net income. Example, accounts receivable. Kailan tayo nagbabawas ng accounts receivable? Typically, if nakaka-kolekta tayo. So when our customers pay us sa mga receivables natin sa kanila, nagbabawas tayo ng accounts receivable. So the assumption there is kapag nababawasan si accounts receivable, there is collection. So since there is collection, there is increase in cash. Kaya we add it to our net income. What about increase in liabilities? Increase in current liabilities add to net income yan. Bakit? Sige, may example. Accounts payable. Kailan nadadagdagan si accounts payable? Kapag hindi tayo nagbabayad. Okay? Kapag hindi tayo magbabayad or wala tayong binabayaran, nadadagdagan yung utang natin, but we are able to save cash. So since we are able to save cash, increase in current liabilities should be added to our net income. And then, lastly, decrease in current liabilities. Oh, accounts payable ulit. Kailan naman nangyayari yung mababawasan yung accounts payable natin? Nababawasan si accounts payable pag nagbabayad tayo ng utang. And if magbabayad tayo ng utang, nababawasan yung cash natin. Therefore, we have to deduct the decrease in current liabilities. Ayun, balikan nyo na lang yon kasi medyo complicated talaga yon. So just try to rewind it from time to time in order for us to have a better understanding how this indirect method works. So example, umpisa tayo sa net income. Again, this is taken from the income statement. And then if may nakita kang depreciation expense sa income statement and amortization expense, you have to add it back. Okay? And then if may nakita kang increase in accounts receivable, you deduct it. Decrease in inventory, you have to add it back. Increase in accounts payable, add the 25. And then decrease in accrued expenses. Take note accrued expenses is not an expense account. This is a liability account. So, deduct. Deduct the 15,000 pesos. So, all in all, the net cash provided by the operating activities is 370. And then dito, again, it's just straightforward. Investing activities, it's just straightforward. Similar lang siya sa direct method. Then, so in this example, net cash provided is 370,000. So, if meron tayong cash beginning na 500 plus the 370 net increase, therefore, the cash ending balance is 870. Make sure na itong 870 is what is reflected in your balance sheet. Now, what are the advantages of using indirect? Easier to prepare. Kasi, if you're a typical business, at the end of the period, meron ka talagang income statement, meron ka ding balance sheet. So, kompleto na yung documents mo that you will need to construct the cash flow statement using the indirect method. Aligns with accrual accounting kasi nga, it's more on the accrual side. Then, this is also commonly used. Disadvantage, yun lang, hindi siya ganun ka-transparent as compared to the direct method. Kasi sa direct method, alam mo na may collection from the customers, may payment to the suppliers. But sa indirect method, di mo alam eh. Increase, decrease lang yung nakikita mo. Does not explicitly show cash actual cash inflow and outflow. And yeah, it's it's really more complex. So I guess that's it, Pansip. Kung meron kayong tanong, and I really encourage everyone to ask questions because even ako, no, sometimes naglo-loading pa ako kung add ba o deduct ito sa cash kung may increase or decrease ng mga working capital. So thank you so much and mayong hapon sa tanan.